Alright, I don't usually make these videos, but I thought it was time I made this video. This is a channel update of just stuff that I am really changing. I really want to change what's going on with my channel. Um, Let me show you kind of an idea of what's going on. All this bag is stuff that I am taking to the library to donate. And as you can see, there's a lot of Star Wars books in there. 90% High Republic books. And there's a big reason for that, which is that I wanted to get into reading Star Wars books years ago, but it was hard to find a jumping off point because most of the Star Wars books were stuff about video games that I wasn't really around for or was too young for. They were novels about that, or they were decades old books that fans love but weren't really a good jumping off point. And so when the High Republic books launched, I thought that was a great place to get into those books. But I think I just fell out of love with those books and out of love with Star Wars books in general. I am still reading a few comic book storylines, but I just don't want to talk about High Republic books. One, because the views aren't there anymore for those. I don't really know if they ever were, but especially now, they're not really there for the High Republic books. Just because there's so many of them, and and also clearly the Acolyte show was supposed to really bring in the books into it and kind of build that world out. And that's what I really enjoyed about that show. But then that show got kind of canceled. So I've kind of fallen out of love with those books. And you might be saying, well, does that all really matter when you liked reading those books? I did, but I don't really ever see myself rereading any of those books, so I just donate them all. I donate a big portion of them today. I'm going back tomorrow to donate the rest. And I won't be reviewing any of the new ones because, number one, there's at least 2 to 3 or 4, let's be honest, 4, counting all the comics, of those books that were coming out every single month. Every single month, I was spending like 50, $60 on these books. And not even because I was enjoying them anymore. It was really just to review them. And so I don't really want to do that anymore. And then it's like my book collection was just too big because it's all these Star Wars books that I'm not even really ever planning to reread or even look at again. And I have all these other books here that I could be reading, not necessarily making videos about, but I could be reading. And so it just made me go, I'm done with this. So I just took it, I donated them. And so yeah, I won't be reviewing those anymore, but that's not the only channel update. I want to show that first. I also wanted to mention I'm no longer going to be reviewing DC animated movies because that's another thing that I really got into reviewing for you guys. And I found out of love with those, and I'm looking at my movie collection. I'm going, I'm not ever going to rewatch these again. So I didn't get rid of all of them. I kept the ones I really love. They're over there still with my DC stuff. But I no longer need every single one anymore. And it's just, and I don't want to review them for you guys either because I'm not really enjoying them that much. There's a sequel thing to Batman Ninja. I just donated my copy of Batman Ninja. I don't need it. I don't need to see a sequel. And so, and then it's also like those titles are getting expensive. And that's the other thing I wanted to say is starting in the month of April, I'm cutting back on my physical media spending. Now, there's a few reasons for this, and not to get political, but there is rumors of we're going into a recession here in the States. I don't know if we are, but but either way, even if we weren't, I do need to start saving money. There's always things that are going down in the future. You never know what's really going to happen. And I'll be honest, I've slacked in that in a lot of ways, but I need to do that. And if you don't know, in real life, I work at a movie theater, and that business is hard. It's a job I love, but it's a business that's hard because there's so many slow seasons with movies, and there's not enough. How do I explain it? Like, there just isn't enough hours all the time to make it work sometimes, and so that's another reason I need to be working to save money. And if I'm spending it on all these movies, I'm not saying that's the only thing I'm spending it on, but that is something that will help me out during the month. And then the other thing is that physical media is not going cheaper. And, there's lots of rumors because of Trump's tariff policy and most just not being made here in the States, that's going to cause the cost of these things to go up. And I don't know. We'll see, right? But the discs were already going up anyways. You know, movies now, especially Disney titles, are coming out $50. And like I have Moana 2 pre-ordered, the steelbook of that, to come in the mail next week, $50. And I'm not gonna cancel that pre-order because at the end of the day, it's not gonna get any cheaper. And when that stuff goes out of print, it will probably be very pricey. So I do want to get it, but it is like, oh, some of these things are gonna be expensive. It's really gonna be like, okay, I need to start limiting which ones I get a month and what I'm getting. And then, so I think most of my book collecting will be slowing down to just comics because the comics are the things that I'm pulling out, I'm rereading. I have other books in here that I am reading. I have autobiographies in there of musicians I love that I haven't even touched, that I've been meaning to. That's happening. I'm reading is it over here? Yeah. I have this Anime Impact book that I'm going through, written by Chris Stuckman. Like, I'm actually starting to that I haven't been reading. That's kind of why recently, also, if you noticed on the channel, I've been doing the physical media reviews like once a week. I haven't been doing that as much. I'm going to get back into that. What I'm just waiting on right now is a few review series I'm doing right now to kind of be done with, so I can go back to that. But I think when I'm done reviewing 1923, the second season, I'll probably go back to that. But lately I have been, last couple of days, I've been sitting at home and I've been able to watch movies at home that I've had for months just sitting on the shelf. And that's the real thing I'm looking at and going, okay, I got all these things coming in the mail. And am I watching them? No. And sometimes there's reasons for that. Like, some of these things are videos I'm planning months from now. But I'm trying to get it while it's at a good deal. Or it's a movie that, hey, I just saw in the theaters a couple months ago, but it came out on physical media and it was a good deal, so I got it. Right? So there's reasons for that. But there are just movies still that I've had for so long, just sitting on these shelves. I haven't even touched them. And I'm trying to change that, and I'm trying to fix that. I'm also looking at my collection going, I got all these gaps. I got all these little spaces that I'm going, I need this, I need that. And it's time to really start cracking into those gaps, start fixing those gaps and filling them. And just also being more picky about things I pick up. So, all this to say is don't expect any more High Republic reviews. Don't expect any more DC animated reviews. Those aren't happening anymore. And maybe, just on the channel, maybe expect less physical media reviews, more older movie talk. There's a few movies that I really love that there's no real reason I want to review them. Just, I'm going to review them this year. I'm not going to say what they are, just in case they either end up don't happening or end up getting delayed, that you kind of forget about them. whatever. Goofy movie. You know that the first one's turning 30 this year. The second one's turning 25. I'm gonna do a video on those. Love those movies, right? I got things planned to talk about older film, which is something I wanted to do on the second channel anyways, and I'm not really trying to just talk about new things all the time. And that's really the hard thing with YouTube is we get so caught up in new things and buying. If you're a YouTuber, there really is a mentality that you have to buy things to make content, which really isn't true. In a way, you do have to. You know, they're saying spend money to make money. It's kind of the same with YouTube. You got to spend money to make content, and really, it's true you do. But there's still ways I can be spending less and taking care of things I need to. Which is not to say that I've been neglecting on it so much for YouTube that's kind of ridiculous. No, it's not like that. But I am trying to take care of things. And I just thought this video was important to make. I also just think that I'm checking so much out in theaters that I might try to make sure I'm slowing down on that as well. You know, I've seen a lot of stuff this month, and a lot of it's been a mixed bag and not great. So that might be something I'm slowing down and saying, hey, look, I don't need to go to the theaters to see that or do this. There's certain things I'm working on. And, you know, just a lot of stuff going on. It's a lot to think about. I also just want to start going through some of these shows, these landmark shows that I've never really watched, like Breaking Bad or stuff like that, Dexter, things like that. I'm doing Yellowstone right now. That's been a lot of fun. I'm going to go through all those shows at some point. That's going to be fun. So there's a lot of things coming for the channel, but I want to keep it. But I've been lately more happy with the content I've been making because it's the content that interests me and excites me. Where before I was just so inundated with gotta make a video on that, gotta do a video on this, yada yada yada, and it wasn't fun. No more High Republic book reviews. Nothing against them, but it's not fun anymore, and I don't even own them anymore. And it really is a burden and an eyesore to be looking at those books on the shelf. It really was starting to get to me because I'm going, look, I'm running out of space and I'm looking at these fucking books that I don't even read anymore. I think so it just, yeah, I don't know if I really will be doing many book reviews. I think they'll still happen, but I think that's something that I think is kind of clogged up my video content on my main channel with these random book reviews. Some of them interest you, some of them don't. Let me know what you guys think. But it's just been a lot on my mind thinking about all these contents related projects I'm working on, and I just think it's time to let some things go.